morning world. Roadcraft Nottingham here. Look what I've got. Thank you. A Ducati Diavel 1198cc Carbon Black. I picked it up because it came up at the right price, so I was thinking of selling it on, and I thought I'd do a review on it. Let's just go through the bad bits to start with, because when I first bought it I was actually really disappointed with it. Really disappointed. First of all, the keyless ignition fob wasn't giving out a very strong RF signal, so I had to actually touch it on the pickup loop underneath the seat to get it to activate. Changed the battery and that's sorted. Secondly, the fuel injection mapping. Those of you that have seen my other reviews, I'm really not a fan of fuel injection, but this was abysmal. It was really, really bad. And then I found that the chain was very slack. A standard motorbike chain, they recommend anything between say 25 and 35 millimeters free play. On this, according to the manual, it's actually 9 to 11 millimeters, which is nothing. So I've taken that up, but I also found it was clattering really badly on the overrun, like there was something wrong with the gearbox. So I also had a look underneath the swing arm, and there was a chain guide, and that was attached directly to a hollow swing arm. So when the chain was hitting the chain guide, it was amplifying a real horrible bang through the chain guard. Through the swing arm, sorry. So what I've done there is I've actually put some rubber in between the chain guard and the swing arm, and it seems to have cured it. The other problem I had was the suspension. I was taking it down a road as bumpy as this one is at the moment, and it was actually pounding my spine. It was hurting. It was horrible. I can only imagine it was like riding a hardtail chopper. So after going on the Ducati Diavel forum, I'll put a link below for it. They were very, very helpful, and it turns out my suspension was a mile out. Somebody also put up the cure for the chain on the swing arm, and also somebody suggested that I use the Shell V-Power fuel. So I've now got Shell V-Power fuel in here too. At the moment it's behaving himself, but I'm actually on my way to a Ducati specialist, and he's going to plug it into his computer and just have a look at the mapping. I've currently got it in sport mode, so let's go on about the comfort of the thing. It's a really nice riding position. Oh, while I'm at it, they also said it likes to be revved. You can't really lug this engine because it's such a big lumpy V-twin. If you have the revs too low, it does affect the mapping of it. So you keep the revs above about 3,000 revs and you'll be happy. So anyway, the riding position. It made me laugh the other day. Somebody was doing a review, an Australian guy. It was very, very good. I'm just going to do a single car overtake here because I can only get that much view. And he was on about the seat is positioned in such a way that it batters your chocolate starfish. And it's true, the seat is slightly angled forwards, even though it's sculptured nicely. As a bloke, you tend to find you sit forward and it squashes your private parts a little bit. Somebody suggested the touring seat, but I've heard that that isn't that much better. So I think it's a case of just having to get used to it. The handling of it is a little bit unusual at the moment, because when I first got it, the tyre pressures were reading 30 front and 33 rear, and you were finding you were having to muscle it around corners. The steering was very, very heavy. So I put the tyre pressures up to 33 front and 36 rear, which seems to have made it almost perfect. And somebody on the forum is suggesting that I put it up to 36 front, 36 rear. So I'll probably be trying that after I come back from the garage. At the moment though, the bike is absolutely gorgeous. It's smooth now, it's comfortable, the fuel injection is a lot better. I don't know whether it's because of the V-Power fuel or because I've just taken the really slack chain off. But at the moment it's as sweet as a nut. There's some serious power in this. It's basically the 1200 Testostretta engine or whatever it is that comes from a Ducati Superbike. The Multistrada. And at the moment it's really behaving itself. Sometimes I find that on days like this, when it's actually quite a damp, overcast day, bikes tend to breathe better because the oxygens are just a little bit richer for it, and it helps them run a bit richer. Might be a complete myth, but on these damp days my bikes run better. So there. Listen to that burbling. You also find as well, whenever you park up, you draw a crowd. People either think it's achingly beautiful or totally ugly. I'm going for the first one. It's really funny, I tend to go for these Italian styled type of bikes where some people just think they're plain ugly. But what I've done is taken a few photographs of the details. Getting a little warning about speed cameras here. Yeah, I've taken photographs of the details of it. If you look at it on these photos I'm just about to put up, the finish, you just keep seeing things. You know, little things like the way the forks are mounted into the holder. You know, the way the side panels have been finished, the fit of everything. I've heard somebody say that they actually just originally built the rear wheel and then were ordered to build a bike around that wheel. But I personally do think that this bike is just a work of art. The gearbox on this is really sweet. It's very, very slick. Okay, now I'm holding 30 miles an hour in third gear, just under 3,000 revs. I'm just going to open it up, I'm in sport mode. That pulls like it's on a bungee cord. It does sound lovely. The gear position indicator is very handy as well. Yeah, the bike is sweet as a nut. It is actually quite comfortable. I think you get used to it. How I can complain about the seat when I'm riding a Tuono that's basically got a piece of chipboard as a seat, I'll never know. Oh, Jesus! Oh, this thing is so quick. And clutchless gear changing on it is as slick as anything. Absolutely beautiful. It cuts through the air nicely as well, even with this little screen on it. It's just very smooth. The brakes are really nice as well. You get a lot of feel from the brakes. They're very smooth, they're not grabby at all. The clutch is a hydraulic clutch and it's ultra smooth. This thing really does have some serious grunt. But it's nice progressive grunt as well. It's definitely a bike for the more experienced rider, because the throttle is, you know, just move it a millimetre and the thing launches. Okay, this is the guy, Neil, at Cornerspeed Ducati. Very, very helpful. Right, I'm just on my way back from Neil now at Cornerspeed, and he's done a cracking job. He's reflashed the ECU, he's put a new map on. I've still got it in sport mode, but the delivery is a lot smoother. It's still ever so slightly hesitant, but then again, that's just the nature of fuel injection. He's also had a little play with the suspension as well, back to the factory settings, and that seems to be making quite a difference as well, so it's sweet. Still got a lovely growl coming from the exhaust. So I'm holding the throttle steady there at 26-27 in second gear. And that is as smooth as I'd expect a fuel injected bike to be. 30 miles an hour now. Try third. But that's much better than it was when I first got it. So I'd have to say on the conclusion of this thing, it's gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. I'd just been on the forums, as I say, and I was about to slag off Motorcycle News for calling this bike of the year. But it really is a lovely piece of kit. It's comfortable, it's powerful, it looks fantastic. So basically on my conclusion, yeah, I might even not bother selling this. I might keep it as well as my Tuono, because it's in a different league to the Tuono. I'd liken the Tuono to being Bruce Lee. Very sharp, very agile, very powerful, very deadly. And this is basically Mr. T or Mike Tyson. It's a big bruiser, and I love it. Why don't you click here to have a look at Lindsay's review and see what she thinks of it.
Did you see me?
Cheers.
That was funny. I didn't expect it to pull quite as much as that.